I think sometimes us sellers, we have our own thoughts about Cassini, the eBay algorithm. And in this video, I just want to kind of talk about some things, misconceptions I think that people have, and the idea that nobody has this thing that we call the eBay algorithm figured out. So let's talk about that here on the other side. So without any further ado, let's go. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is John from Flipping Ain't Easy. And you know guys, it seems like sometimes, we get so desperate to maybe get more sales, maybe get some sales, right? That we just do things for the sake of doing things that's different. And when that works, we think that actually had some kind of impact on our sales. And a lot of times that's going against the grain. So like one channel, which I won't mention the name, had mentioned that they turned off their promoted listings entirely, got 10 sales, and then the next day turned on their promoted listings and had no sales. And that to me is such a small sample size, and it's kind of like this. I have promoted listings on a lot of my listings, on almost all my listings, and I'm promoting very high on a lot of those listings. Well, I had a day where I had no sales and I had more impressions and page views than I did than my average. And then I had a day where I had just the sales just wouldn't stop. And then you look at the traffic reports and it was right around average, which didn't make sense in either case to me. Yet, here we are. This is kind of what happens. And Cassini is the eBay algorithm that is the program behind the program, meaning that you log into ebay.com, you see the interface, and Cassini is the search engine algorithm that operates behind the scenes that figures out of all these millions of sellers, of all these thousands of listings that are similar to yours, maybe you're selling a clothing item, where does your item fit within all the sea of listings? And it compares to the data that the buyer is inputting when they're typing in an eBay search. That's why you can type in and search for your item two different ways, and you can get two different sets of search results. It's just the way the algorithm behaves. So as sellers, we're trying to figure out any little thing we can do that's going to make it work and turn these sales on. And the idea that you can go against the grain where eBay is a business trying to take your money, that's just the bottom line. We've already figured that out, but to go against that and to not promote, right? And to not do the little things that is going to put money into eBay's pocket and to think that is how it is, that's going to make you money, that's, to me, wrong think, guys. We as sellers should be willing to play the game, but along the lines of playing the game, you have to figure out, each and every one of us as resellers, we have to figure out what the game actually is. And there's a lot of sellers out there that will post on these forums, that will even post in the comments of some of these videos, and even show up on the live streams and report, I didn't make any sales, I haven't made sales in a week, but they won't tell us anything else, right? They won't tell us what they're selling. They won't tell us all the little things that they may have done. Look, I've promoted, I've made sure my listing's optimal, I'm a top-rated seller, right? They're doing all the things that eBay expects us to do, and they're not telling us sometimes that they're below standard, that maybe they don't take, they're whipping listings out as fast as they can because another channel told them to, right? They're not paying attention to their item specifics. They're not paying attention to their price. They're not doing homework to see what their competitors are selling that item for, not having any idea what the market is for their item. And yet they're showing up, they're taking the effort to show up to these live streams and to comments and to forums and posting how they're just doing bad in sales, when the answer lies 100% within them and how they're working the eBay process. I want to kind of cut away from the conversation for a minute to just show you that I have a lot on my plate. I've got a lot of stuff that I got to get listed, at least 25 items here, and it's not going to be a total loss if I don't get it all done today. but I still have about 40 items that I have to pick up tomorrow. And this is my area where I kind of stage these items so that when I'm ready to get them listed, I just come over here and grab an item from the pile, and I'm adding more stuff to this pile. And as you can see, I don't have a whole lot of room to add 40 more items. So I really need to get on the ball. So making this video, and I'm going to go into overdrive, maybe work a little overtime today, because who knows what I'm going to do with 40 items if I don't get half this, at least half this stuff moved and at least put up on my account. So that's my goal for today. Archie called me yesterday, and it's along these same lines, where he was watching another channel, and they pretty much said that the reason why people aren't getting sales who are opted in to the eBay International Shipping Program is because that eBay is taking time to determine if those listings are even allowed to be sold on the International Shipping Program. You know how certain countries have listings that are prohibited, like items that are prohibited. You guys have watched my channel, know I've encountered some of those things. And eBay is taking its sweet time in determining if those items are eligible, and therefore when you first opt in to the eBay International Shipping Program, your sales are inherently going to be slow, because those items aren't going to be shown right away until they figure out if those listings are even valid listings for the program. And that's one person's thought, right? And by us out here, influencers on YouTube are coming out and just saying what's on our mind without having any scientific explanation behind that. It just may have happened that one day you opted in and you got no sales, and instead of saying, well, maybe I don't have good items, maybe my items, maybe all these things we talk about and all these videos that are on YouTube right now, maybe I'm only following half of those things, and maybe if I improved on the other half, that maybe my sales would be better. No, it's because I opted into the eBay International Shipping Program, and inherently, because eBay is doing something behind the scenes to make sure my items are eligible, that's why I'm not getting any sales. I think a lot of times people will do something, sellers will do something, and they'll form a conclusion with only their own sample size or a very small sample size, and think that, I've unlocked the algorithm and this is how you can get more sales. And I think we're all kind of guilty of that. Even on this channel, I'll come across something and I'll be like, guys, I just don't know what it is. You do this, at least I did this, and this is what happened. I think case in point is the whole eBay International Shipping Program opting out. I was having a horrible time making sales when they first opted me in on my other account. And on this account, my main account, my sales kind of slowed down. And I figured out that maybe there's a problem. And we opted out, sales normalized within hours. Other people had the same experience, which helped me feel like I had enough data to put out a video to say, here's my experience and at least a half a dozen others who posted comments on my channel. Does that make it mean that this is the way? No, it doesn't. But I think a lot of times we form our own conclusions, and we think, because I did this today, I got more sales. Maybe I wore red underwear today, and because I wore red underwear, I made more sales. Are you going to wear red underwear every day? So I think a lot of times we need to start looking at the things, the best practices that eBay wants us to utilize. Okay, we go back to it again. Your title. You got to have a good quality title. Remove the brands from the front of the title that no one's ever heard about. Put in the first 5 or 6 words of your title what a buyer would type in to find your item. And if you do that, maybe go back into your current listings and try to fix your titles. That can have an impact. Your pricing. Do you even know what the market is for some of the stuff you're selling? Are other people selling it lower than you and you have no idea? That could be another reason. Are your item specifics in place above and beyond just the required? Do you have relevant item specifics in your recommended that will help a buyer weed down their search. How's your item description? Your item description even there at all? Seen a lot of times when you look at listings, people even have an item description. How's your account health? Do you have a lot of late defects on your shipping? Are you now below standard? Or are you not even top rated seller? A lot of things. How many defects? How many return requests have you allowed to lapse without you handling it? Those are all defects that are there for you to see, but I think people don't dig enough to see, wow, my account is really in bad shape. And your negative feedback, while it doesn't have nearly as much impact on your account nowadays than it used to, it's still there and buyers can still see it. How is your negative feedback? I mean, mine isn't the greatest, but I do my best to manage it the best that I can, so that it doesn't have a negative impact when a buyer takes a look at my feedback. So there's so many things that we as sellers can do to improve our listings, and we're not even talking about what we're selling, because I think that's even a bigger piece of this. Are you selling higher demand, higher ASP items, or are you just trying to make the same thing work that you sold for $5 and $10 2 years ago, trying to make that work in 2023 when it's not? So the answer lies within you guys. It's not any of this stuff that sometimes we can put up here on for clickbait. It's kind of clickbaity as channels. We put stuff, oh, I skipped 3 times and did a backflip, and because of that this item sold. No, that's just a one-off. You might have had your date with a unicorn. They came and found your item, because one thing you have to really consider is eBay doesn't buy your item. And I think I've talked about this many times before. eBay simply provides the traffic. They provide direction to your buyer who's looking for item A, and they place your item in front of their eyes within a sea of other listings, and it's up to you to make your listing stand out to where that item is not only clicked, but once they're in your item, that's a page view, they're compelled enough to buy it. And there's so many things that you have to do within that listing that Cassini is looking for every step of the way. And hopefully this made sense to you guys. Hopefully it's just sticking to the basics. Buy good, sell good, right? Buy good stuff, make quality listings at a quality price, you're going to get sales. It's a simple formula, but I think sometimes we overcomplicate it because we read into things and processes and changes that eBay does, and we're just making it a little harder than it has to be. It's a very easy process, guys. Play eBay's game. eBay's going to reward you. Fight eBay. Do things eBay doesn't want you to do. Have a bad account health. Sell bad items. And you're going to be sitting around wondering why you've only sold 2 items in a month. So comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this. I think we're all guilty, guys. We're all guilty of thinking that way. I think sometimes when we're having slow days, we start thinking, how do I get myself out of this rut? And you just got to get back to the basics. Just got to get back to the basics. But coming to that realization is yet another example of how flipping ain't easy. And I want you to check out one of these videos here. But in the meantime, we will talk to each and every one of you guys very, very soon.